Preston McIntyre, and today I will be discussing the so-called electric race between Thomas Edison's AC and Nikola Tesla's DC. My primary source for this discussion will be the book Electric War, Edison, Tesla, Westinghouse, and the Race to Light the World by Mike Winchell. Throughout the video, you'll see a number in the upper right-hand corner, which corresponds to in-page citations included in the video description. This will also apply to facts from other sources such as Wikipedia and History.com. External citations should be shown in red, while in-book citations will be shown in blue. Now, let's dive into this fascinating book. It explores the so-called electric race between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. Additionally, it discusses the creation of the dynamo, a device that generates power, the electric chair, and yes, even using electricity to kill animals. Yes, we're really going there today, aren't we? The period in which this race takes place is the Gilded Age, a very lavish decade during which many major human achievements were made, such as the telephone, airplane, and, more importantly for the story, the incandescent light bulb by Thomas Edison. No, he did not invent the light bulb. That was created by Warren D. LaRue way back in 1840, a whole 40 years before Thomas Edison. It's a common misconception. That said, the so-called light bulb had its flaws. It barely lasted no more than a few seconds, was incredibly dim and quite expensive, primarily due to its use of the platinum filament, instead of tungsten, which is what is used in today's incandescent bulbs. He created what is now known as the Edison bulb, which uses a glass enclosure with a squirrel cage filament, and more importantly, a screw-on base. This invention revolutionized the light bulb, as early designs were permanently installed and could not be replaced. Additionally, Edison's bulbs had a lifespan of over 1,000 hours, which was unprecedented at the time. Of course, Edison wasn't the only inventor involved in the development of the light bulb. Many others made significant contributions as well. However, he was the first to successfully commercialize electric light on a large scale and mass produce it. But how do you power this newfangled invention? At the time, no one knew the answer until the discovery of direct current, or DC for short. This revolutionary method of powering lights had its advantages, primarily to its simplicity of production. Unlike alternating current, AC, DC doesn't have any phases, which means it's more suitable for lighting. However, the biggest issue with DC is range, or how far the power can go from the power plant. In fact, the range was so bad, DC power plants can only go a few city blocks. But more importantly, it's expensive. So if Edison wanted to reach his goals of powering an entire city, he would have to find better ways to cut costs, or better yet, find something better than DC. And then came Nikola Tesla, a young inventor from Serbia who moved to the United States. He developed a more efficient method for generating electricity, known as alternating current, or AC for short. Unlike direct current, DC, which flows in one direction, AC alternates at a direction typically at a frequency of 60 Hz in the United States. This invention allowed AC to be transmitted over a much greater distance than DC. AC was such a revolutionary way to create power that Edison took note and saw the discovery as competition, and looked to squash AC and prove that DC was much better. And he was willing to do anything possible, even going so far to publicly execute dogs and elephants with AC. Then came Alfred P. Southwick, who was credited with proposing the idea of an electric chair as a method of execution. The first person to be executed by electricity was murderer William Kilmer on August 6, 1990, and it took 2 attempts to successfully carry out his execution. While Edison didn't directly contribute to the creation of the electric chair, his assertion that AC was dangerous significantly influenced public perception. And while Edison's argument that DC was safer wasn't innately wrong, at best it was misleading. While DC can indeed be lethal, it requires significantly higher voltages to do so. Moreover, DC can still cause harm even at lower voltages due to arcing and internal burns. It is true that DC is generally considered safer at lower voltages, however Edison wasn't always running DC at those levels. He needed to transmit power at significantly high voltages in order to ensure efficiency, offering reaches as high as 14 kilovolts in power lines. But he did use lower voltages for lighting at the destination. Throughout the video, I call the electric race so-called because this isn't really a race. AC is objectively better at lighting studies than DC, but DC is better for electronics and precision devices like phones, computers, etc. Therefore, labeling it as a race is misleading. The only reason it was perceived as a race was due to Edison's persistence to believe that DC was inherently better than AC. And Edison failed to recognize that DC has many shortcomings that prevent it from being a true AC alternative. Overall, this book is very enjoyable and gave a great insight into the electric race back then and really showed how far Edison was willing to go. Thanks for watching.